Before we get started, what I wanted to do was just set some context for what I hope will be a fun and lively conversation over the next 15 minutes. So at Digitas Studios, we operate under the premise that the average attention span of the consumer is around 6 seconds. So to put that in context, that's a little bit more than a squirrel, but less than a goldfish. So welcome to the scrolling economy. Consumers have access to more content across more platforms than ever before. And they know how to block what they don't like. In fact, over 25% of consumers now leverage ad blockers. And amongst millennials, that number is higher. So as a result, attention has become the new currency of media and advertising. And in today's world, attention isn't bought, it's earned. So that's where we're going to start. Before we take a look at some of the work that you guys have shared and what you've done over the past year, what I wanted to do is just start with a simple question. How do you think you're effectively earning the attention of your consumer?
You said that was a simple question? I think the real answer is that attention is fragmented. That's why it's so hard to earn, which means the job of marketers has become to think through all those different touch points where you might gain attention and then constantly rethink and calibrate what's the right way to engage them there. So, as a big national mass brand, we still believe in television, and we've done a really good job doing, award-winning, fun, talked about television commercials.
Right.
And the beauty of social media is if you do a good job, then people continue that conversation for us. But, we've done at least an equally great job building up a presence through our social channels. We actually just celebrated our 3rd anniversary on Snapchat, and probably the oldest brand to have participated before it was a thing to do, because we recognized it was a place where young people were starting to gravitate, and we have a great young social team that started to create content that to this day, people, if you go on Snapchat today, it's Cinco de Mayo and we're celebrating. You might see some fun things there. So I think that really shows probably the two extremes with a lot of other things in the middle. And for us, I think it's just an ongoing journey and conversation about how to think about the right messages and the right ways to engage for the medium.
Great.
It's as simple as that.
As simple as that is.
Yes.
Alexa.
I think we're similar. We've been first to a lot of platforms, but our strategy's really been about getting to communities that are excited and can geek out with us about big technology, big machinery, aviation, jet engines, those types of things, and really winning their hearts over. And that's really been how we do it. We are human, and we speak in human language, and we geek out with them.
Super fun. And you know what I really love about the work that you guys just shared is, on the one hand, you have your taco emoji generator, and that really shows the power of social, user-generated, democratized content. And then on the other hand, you show the GUI work, and that's much more long-form, immersive storytelling. So it's really both ends of the content marketing spectrum, which is great. Which, when I was thinking about it, the one thing I came back to was sort of this definition again of content and how we're all defining content. And especially this week during the NewFronts, the one thing we hear all the time is premium content. So, I'm curious to hear from the two of you, how do you define premium content? What does that mean for your brands?
Premium content?
Premium content.
You want to go first?
We don't talk about premium content. Yeah. We talk about content that's right for the audience, and if it happens to have, I think the industry talked about premium content a few years ago as, has a high production value, but I don't really think that that's premium content. Content can be lo-fi, it can be produced by amateurs, and it can be amazing because it speaks to the audience. And that's how we think about it.
Right.
I think it is about all content that is connecting in a way that makes you want to stop and watch and engage and feel something and do something. Yeah. That's, I think, what we're really fundamentally talking about. And I think Alexa's distinction is so right for us, which is that, and it goes back to what I was saying earlier, message and medium, is we love content that feels organic. We love content that feels highly produced. Yeah. Sometimes both of those things are right, depending upon what you're trying to accomplish. And you also said short form and long form, same thing. Right. We had so much to show. I gave you a little snippet on the taco emoji engine. The thing that was cool about that is, I'll tell you a quick story about that, is we we have such an engaged community that our fans started asking us why there wasn't a taco in the emoji keyboard. Not a Taco Bell branded emoji. They were like, why isn't there a taco? And they figured we would know because we are the arbiter of all things tacos. And we said, you're right. And we felt their sense of indignation. And so we lobbied with them and for them and started, a change.org petition, 40-something thousand petitioners later. Our hopes were raised and dashed again with the Unicode Consortium, and finally it was happening. We found out it was happening. Oh my God, there's going to be, and again, I will repeat, a taco emoji, not a branded one. Although we felt like now, because there already was a bell, we were being made emoji whole because we could express our name in 2 emojis. I think that's an example of when you do something for the right reasons and you create a little moment, anything can become a solution and an opportunity for storytelling.
Great.
Yeah. So, I think that we've been really lucky, and I think Taco Bell is also a great example of taking license, being first, but being first with purpose, doing things that are risky. Ira actually talked about our podcast. That was a risk. It was the first fictional branded podcast ever. So we are big believers in taking risks and putting the brand out there when it's right. And again, right for who we're talking to.
Right.
And you know what? A lot of brands talk the talk.
Right.
That's the difference. Not all brands actually will walk the walk. So we're all responsible to P&Ls, in many cases, like ours, public companies with shareholders and investors. So it's not like you want to take irresponsible risks,
Of course.
but you can take calculated risks.
So let me build on that for a second. I think, again, as you guys have been talking about, you are both first to market, innovative, trying new platforms, trying new technologies. How do you balance that desire to be first with actually the need to deliver ROI for your business?
They're connected. They're absolutely connected, and something that we're always thinking about. The thing that's wonderful and also the challenge about what we do at GE is we've one of the most established, oldest brands in the world. Right? So it's wonderful. We have a lot of awareness. It's challenging because a lot of people think of us as washing machines, dryers, right, and a bank. And the company's really been pivoting over the last 5 years into going back to its roots, into being a manufacturing company and a digital company, so really a digital industrial company of the future. And we put these programs out there, again, with purpose and real thought behind them, because we're really working on, and I'm going to steal your word, we actually say this a lot internally, is being the arbiter of science and technology. And so how we look at that and how we measure that is a lot of different ways across our social channels, across the Fallon program that we've done now for 3 years. But even the Fallon example has actually proved to be one of our biggest awareness drivers of what we really believe in around innovation and invention. So it's been great. I would say I want to talk about VR, and I don't want to talk about native advertising.
I would like to have a conversation about how the maturation of content, like what's the downside of all this? Right. We've had really authentic, all the things that get preached, like authentic relationships with influencers, we've had them from the beginning. Now, honestly, they're businesses. So I think there has to be a little bit of an honest reconciliation on both sides of saying that the heart of the relationship are people on both sides, and how do we enable us to both succeed but get back to kind of the values that were there at the infancy of when they were taking off and we were the early players willing to go with them.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for having us.
Thank you so much.